Hey guys, thank you for joining on my podcast on landscapes and legacies, building the green future. I am here at the Lawn and Landscape Technology Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. A conference. I know that they had one earlier this year in Nashville, Tennessee, that I was unable to go for a couple of reasons. One, I just had my son in December of earlier, so he was just a few months old. But I know that they have one actually coming up next year in 2026, also in Nashville. I'm definitely looking into going to that one as well. This is my first lawn and landscape tech conference here in Vegas that they're doing here at Caesars. And so far it's been a lot of information, and also seeing what other people are using out there, both in the residential and the commercial world. It's interesting to see how both are like integrating all of these new technologies and AI and all these sorts of things to assist them in their company. And so us as now being a commercial company, it's able to see like, hey, like we used to be residential, so I hear you, but this is what we're going through. Tonight though was really great. We went to our Disruptors event at Old Red, and this is my first live in-person Disruptors event, and I'm very excited for it. So as you guys may know, I'm actually often a Disruptors of the Week. I post a lot into that program, into that membership. As much as I put into that group, I also get a lot of information out of it as well. And so for me, it's just really good because the key point that I will always preach to everybody is ask questions and stay curious, because what you're doing in your company is unique to you. But it's also great to kind of expand on that and show other companies what you're doing and kind of give them, another option to kind of grow through and find new programs and find new processes that maybe they didn't think of. All the processes that I've set in place within my company, is really a lot through trial and error. I'm not saying it's the end all be all, but that's what worked for my company in that time being, and what worked for me in 2019, 2020, 2021 is not working the same for me in 2024 and 2025. And as much as that is disappointing because I worked really hard to create those processes, I need to understand that I need to evolve with times. And so that requires change, and that requires adaptation to new processes, and a lot of it I don't know, but I know that it's possible. So let's work through this together as a team and as a company, and let's resolve the problems that were existing today, and let's brainstorm on what the possible solutions are for upcoming events or for the upcoming team that's coming on board. So it's a lot of, you need to stay flexible, but you need to be moldable to what's happening today, and know that the problems or the issues or the criteria that I'm working right now here in July of 2025 is not going to be the same that what I'm going to be dealing with in July of 2026. That's actually great. I don't want to be dealing with the same issues and process roadblocks in July of 2026. I'm hoping that I'm over that, right? I'm hope that I'm over that complication or that speed bump, if you will. It's not stopping me, but it's slowing me down because I need to think about the bigger picture. And so thinking about the cause and effect, right? Just something to really kind of wrap my brain around. Here, being at the Lawn and Landscape Tech Conference has kind of really been able to talk to my partnership programs and figure out, okay, what am I not using to this day that can really that I can build upon or improve my processes to get the results that I need. I'm paying for these avenues, or I'm paying for the memberships or what have you. So let me get the best ROI that I can get in this program. For instance, I already program with Azuga because Azuga partners with Aspire that I've been with Aspire for 2 years now. Okay, so let me meet with Azuga. What do you have on the table that I'm not currently utilized that could be a added feature that I didn't know about that I pay for? I met with a couple of other new companies that I don't partner with currently, but seeking options, and figuring out, is this going to work for my company currently? Maybe it'll work for my company in 6 months from now, so I can table that discussion for now. Maybe I can talk about it in a few weeks from now and then really implement that program starting next year. So there's just a lot of options right now in the tech industry and when it comes to landscaping. So it's really vitally important that you as a leader, I would say, make sure you test and try out all of these different avenues. See if it's going to work within your company, or is it going to require a big, massive change, or can just plug and play. So every little program is different, and you need to factor in your return on investment. There's a lot of programs that I have today that I reached out to currently, like, for example, I have Weathermatic SmartLink, and we heavily use this program. We have been waiting on the program to be able to also plug it into two-wire systems because we knew that that was a technology that was coming in sometime this year in 2025, but we didn't really know when. And so I'm here at this Lawn and Landscape Technology Conference, and lo and behold, it just came out of beta like 2 to 3 weeks ago. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I texted my irrigation manager, hey, did you know that the Smart Lake program is actually available now? It's out of beta. And he was like, no, I didn't know. I actually just talked to our rep today and he didn't even mention it. So I was like, well, I'm here at this conference and I just talked to them and they said it's out of beta and it's ready to go. So go reach out to them and be like, yo, what's happening, because we've been waiting for this program. We said that it was coming this year, and then now here we are at the end of July. So we don't want to be, talking out of our butt the entire time. So let's show them, hey, actually, it's not out of beta testing. We can get this added into your program. So I'm really excited about Weathermatic SmartLink program because I know in the commercial end of things, there's a lot of two-wire systems that you can do the virtual program from there and you can show them the audit and all that information, but you're not using it to its fullest capability. So now that they ran out this SmartLink program, it's going to just like open the world up for two-wire systems, which is, for people that don't know, irrigation systems, you have your conventional system, which is you can run one zone at the same time, versus a two-wire system, you can run multiple zones at the same time. There's a lot more into it that I'm saying. That's probably like a whole nother episode. But for a lot of commercial properties, and when I say commercial, I'm talking about like multifamily, HOAs, shopping centers, really, really, really big systems that are running on a two-wire system versus the system that's at your home. At your home, at a residential property, you can only run zone at a time versus on a two-wire system. So there's a lot there's a lot of math and mumbo jumbo that comes into all of that, and I really don't want to get into that. I do have a little bit of background knowledge and when it comes to that, but I do know that there's a whole plethora of knowledge that exists out there when it comes to irrigation systems that I am not fully versed in, but I have a general knowledge in, right? Something that not a general homeowner is going to have, not that every property manager is going to have, but I have that knowledge, and I do have people in my team and people in my network that can help answer any questions that you may have that I just personally might not have the answers to, but I know who can answer your questions. So when it comes to irrigation systems, it's very complicated, and I really, forgive me, I don't mean to mansplain, but there's a plethora of knowledge that comes to that, and it's much more than just watering your lawn, right? So we need to take that into consideration when it comes to, these big properties and these big HOAs and big apartment complexes, right? Because water is a very scarce source that people kind of, I feel like, underestimate. Now, I'm here in Vegas, and Vegas was kind of like the huge, big innovator in non-functional turf. And so what non-functional turf means, I think, for the basic general knowledge, is that non-functional means it's not needed. It's really there for to look pretty and to look good, but it really doesn't serve a purpose much more than that, other than looking good aesthetically, right? And here in Las Vegas in particular, water is very, very expensive and very, very scarce. And so in the areas where turf is not deemed necessary, so think about in between as a residential person, you usually have a strip of grass in between your sidewalk and the street. It's called a numerous amount of things. It's called like an easement or your right of way, or I don't honestly, I know landscaping terms, but I don't know much else than that. But and so all it is your property. You pay for the taxes on that. However, it is your requirement to maintain that, meaning you need to mow it. You need to make sure that it's upheld within the standards of your community. And if the utilities or the public utilities or the government of some sort needs to come in and do some work on your property, they're going to mess up your irrigation system, they're going to mess up your landscaping, but unfortunately you don't get money to fix it, because yes, it is your property, but it is in your public utility easement zone. So therefore, they have every right to do what they need to do in order for the better of the general public, right? So if they need to update your fiber, that's very popular right now. Everyone's moving to fiber, right? Or if you need to, I don't know, update your infrastructure of some sort, some way, somehow, they're going to mess up your landscaping, right? They're going to dig up your grass in that area. They might break some drip irrigation in that area. Here in Texas, the TCEQ rule is anything underneath 4 feet has to be drip irrigation. So if it's going to be drip irrigation and you're putting a sign in there, like a for sale sign and a for rent sign or anything of that nature, you're going to probably more than likely pierce that drip line, and then you're going to cause leaks, right? So we're going to get a phone call and be like, hey, Tiffany, like, we just have running water down the street. Like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay. Well, you probably installed your for sale sign or your garage sale sign or whatever it is. And you probably pierced your drip irrigation. So that easement or that right of way or whatever you call it between the street and the sidewalk, which is generally between underneath 4 feet, it's your property, but it's also, if the utility companies need to come in there and do what they need to do, they're going to come in there and they're going to wreck your world. Well, not your world. I'm sorry. I don't mean to dramatize it. They're going to go in there and do what they need to do, despite whatever irrigation, whatever total landscaping you have, whatever it is that's going on in there, they're going to disrupt it. And they're not going to pay you to fix it either, because again, it's in the right of way, it's in your public utility easement, your PUE. And so that, hey, this is my property and I take over maintenance of this and ownership of this. And so in the event of the public need, such as fiber, that's a very popular thing right now. Hey, if we need to go in there and we kind of need to dig around and do what we need to do for the fiber source in that particular area that's within your property, we're going to do what we need to do. But if we cause any damages, I'm sorry. Anywho, so Lawn and Landscape Tech Conference, I'm learning a whole bunch. It's really been a good learning capability. And I'm looking forward to implementing all the things that I've learned into the real life world at North by Northwest here in Austin, Texas. So thanks for joining the ride and join with me as we go on to this growth path and, making waves and being a disruptor into the landscape industry. Thank you guys. See you soon.